that's like the mentality. It's just, I don't have, but I'm going to find.
What's good, guys? I'm here at Shoreditch Park. My name is Amos. I'm here with a very special guest. He works at Farfetch. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
You're watching Local Insiders Digital Jobs. We spoke with digital industry professionals in Camden, Hackney, Islington and Tower Hamlets to understand their different pathways to finding digital jobs. Amos Mukombero in conversation with Carlos Pontes, presented by Lyft and Good Growth Hub.
So I'm Carlos. I do product design at Farfetch, amongst other things. I am a facilitator at Shoreditch Trust. I do design outside of Farfetch, but I'd say it's a 9 to 5 product design is my thing. In terms of learning graphic design, really a lot of it was tutorials and watching a lot of tutorials. There'll be projects where they'll say, Carlos, we need this for tomorrow. And I'll say, yeah, I've done this before. And it was just me during the night watching every YouTube tutorial that I can to understand how to do it. But eventually I found product design, and through a Good Growth Hub, who do various different projects, programs and placements, I ended up doing Flipside, where they do 3 months of training and then another 3 months of placement. I did my placement with Farfetch and I've been there ever since.
University of YouTube, you know, even for myself, learning how to like edit and stuff like that, literally self-taught. If you could give an elevator pitch about your role and what your day-to-day is like, yeah, how could you explain that?
There's a difference between product design and digital product design. So I guess, yes, some of the sort of philosophies and different concepts that I've learned within product design, digital product design, I can use to build actual physical products. But every day, I'd say first is a lot of like researching, talking to people who are going to use the products. It's a lot of prototyping, understanding the best way to approach problems and problem solving. These are words that any designer, anyone who's a designer hates. It's problem solving, but that's what we do every single day. You know, a lot of people think designing is majority of the time you're drawing or you're designing, but a lot of it is actually just talking and understanding. I think majority of the time I'm having a bunch of meetings. It's like 80% meetings, 20% designing.
With product design, do you feel like there's certain qualifications that are needed to do your job?
It's a tough question. Personally, I believe that anyone from any sort of, you know, whatever they did previously, they can be a designer. It does require a lot of time in University of YouTube is fine, or even getting a qualification, because I don't want to discredit people who go to university and get design degrees. But the reality is, from what I've seen, this is also my personal opinion as well, is that with majority of degrees, they don't really prepare you for the real world. For example, myself, I did law. Once I started learning the foundation of design, the way that I designed was completely different than someone who went to design school, because my narrative is different. Like, I did law. Like, I know someone who did history in university. The way they think, the way that they process ideation is completely different. I'm really curious about that, and I've always been interested in that.
Were you inspired by something, inspired by someone that led you into your product design role?
I started realizing that people are making serious money, one, but most importantly, doing something that they love. I just said, well, this is for me.
Are there any hobbies that help you work more or work better, work efficiently?
I'm into martial arts, big martial arts fan. So I do martial arts, Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu more specifically. And to me, design is there. There's design in jiu-jitsu. Once you understand foundations, usually with training there's a drill that you do, a specific technique that you learn. You go out there and you spar. Same thing with Muay Thai. You're not trying to mimic exactly the technique. You're just trying to find your own way to use it in real life situations. That's design. Being creative in that way. If I'm a taller guy, maybe I'll use my reach. Whenever I'm fighting someone, if I'm shorter, I know I have to be deep inside, or deep in the pocket, as they would say. It's creative in that sense, because not every single technique is going to work for every single person.
What obstacles have you faced in your career path, and like how did you overcome those obstacles and challenges?
Goes back to not having the qualifications and applying for jobs. During COVID, I'd just been fired because I was just about to get furloughed and they cut me. It was just like, guys, I could have survived for at least 3, 4, 5 months on that money. And I'm not mad at them. It's just that I was really focusing way too much on my internships and stuff and not in the actual job it was paying me. But the main thing that I felt after that, once I was applying for jobs, was that, oh, we need people with 2 to 3 years experience. Yes, I didn't do design in university, but some other people who did go to design schools and have design degrees, they don't have 2 to plus 3 years experience. They just left. How do you expect these people to gain experience when there's no one that wants to give it to them? So I think the industry can be quite hostile to juniors in my experience. I think one of the biggest obstacles in my career was that, getting my first junior role. Other than that, I'd say also understanding how to sort of design your career and where you want to go, until I found a mentor through the Flipside program with Good Growth Hub. I didn't understand that actually you do yourself more of a favor by applying to like 3 things and do it really well.
Let's think about someone that wants to be a product designer, wants to get into a tech role, or wants to get into a job in the creative industry. What one key piece of advice would you give them?
I think the very first thing is allow yourself to explore what you want, which is, it's a hard thing to do. We grow in a place where we're following, because following other people is acceptable and you're not really going against the grain and everyone's happy. And when you go, actually, this isn't for me, it's so hard to feel comfortable in it. It's constantly uncomfortable. So I'd say that, be resourceful as well. We'll talk about YouTube University. One thing that I'd say that really helped me is going on Eventbrite. I'll go on only 3 events and the filters and I'd say design, graphic design, and I'd just go to a bunch of different sort of conferences and whatnot. There's this quote, I believe it's by Shakespeare, funny enough. It says, "Oh God, I could be bound in a nutshell, but still count myself as king of the universe." It's an insane way of thinking, but that's like the mentality. It's just, I don't have, but I'm going to find somehow, some way. And I think ultimately that's the mindset that I've always adopted.
Carlos, wow, that was super inspiring. Thank you guys for listening. If you've been watching, share this with your friends, share this with your family. Yeah, I guess it's a wrap. We're at Shoreditch Park. Have a great day and peace.
This video has been presented by Lyft and Good Growth Hub, supported by Mayor of London, in partnership with Camden, Hackney, Islington and Tower Hamlets Borough Councils. Creative direction and visuals by Walk with Amos and Usman Dare. Lyft supports people from underrepresented backgrounds living in Camden, Hackney, Islington and Tower Hamlets to find jobs and training in the tech, creative and science sectors. For more information, visit www.liftfutures.london.